Good morning, everybody. So it is void, of course, moon, and Mercury retrograde starts tomorrow. So I decided to take a morning hike up here with my coffee and my linos. So first things first is my intention here is to serve my source. So I am on sacred land, and there are times that I've done videos out here where readings have gotten shut down and things like that. So my intention here is not to distort the land, but to provide a peaceful place to unravel and do some readings and just discuss a little bit. Okay. You know how it goes. Well, maybe you don't. But navigating the trajectories recently has been interesting. I was actually starting to do a video yesterday called The Deadly Side of Projections and Characterization Stuff. I'll do that later, because there's a lot that's being witnessed right now through my own life with what we're navigating, working on the trials and tribulations. It's just what happens. It starts getting noisy. You want me to sweat lodge it up right now. It's beautiful though right now. We got some cloud overlay. You can feel the moisture in the air. You can feel that the water's coming in to deepen the emotions. But also, it seems that for myself, this Mercury retrograde that's coming up is actually bringing in an opening of the throat chakra rather than a shutting down or a difficult time communicating. I think the only difficulty with communicating is there's a lot of people trying to block people from being able to communicate. There's been a lot of projection of, if you say certain things, you'll get killed, and if you talk about certain things and know certain things, you're going to get killed. A lot of that happening. A lot of misunderstanding of what it is to be light or to be a way shower, projection stuff that I've been witnessing. And all those threads just need to go. There's also been a lot of military activity out here in Sedona, so we'll just leave it there for now until I get to another place to talk about it. So we're going to do a Voices from the Void. I have not used my Wild Unknown Tarot deck in a while. So once again, to this land, to the ancestors, and to those that stand guardian of this land, my intention here is to serve my source, and to provide some clarity on this void. I was hearing I needed to do another Voices from the Void. And then I found out that we are in a void of course moon. And so why not take this time to, they're saying exercise caution in your readings. I know. Okay. So we'll shuffle 6 times. And it's because out here, they don't want old magic on the sacred land, which I completely understand. This is a very pure and well-kept area. And there's no intention of bringing old magic into here. It's just a place to express especially for those of us that are content creators. So thank you to the land. Thank you to Gaia. Thank you to the elementals, to the guardians and the gatekeepers here. Appreciate you. So always got to show respect. So, okay. So we have the Empress card coming out, and I feel like that this is now coming through as the burning bush or an awakening right now. It's a flourishing, it's a ripening, especially with the Empress. It's about the divine feminine, harnessing her power and unleashing it fully right now. Threes, symbology of the trine, the Trinity. This essence of three is very much so coming through as a union with our feminine, but it's the power of the feminine, almost a reclamation of the feminine, Next with the Nine of Wands, I feel like that this is a coming through very much right now as an illumination point of that which stands in the way of us being able to fully embody our truth. So it seems that this void of course, there's something having to do with an awakening, that which is blocking us to fully see or to fully perceive all that we are. Wands, speaking of fire, it seems like this is a almost an initiation phase of the ripples that we have to pass through to get to our true nature and to the light. Like this is almost a stairway to heaven, each wand representing a ripple or a bandwidth or a distortion or a filter, almost an initiation that we have to pass through. So the closer we get to the center of who we are, we can think of this as a layer. And right now, it's about traversing the layers or the ripples that are happening. So as we are clearing out from the collective, we'll get these ripples or bandwidths that show up. And we can feel them and sense them. And it's an initiation getting back to the true core, to the true center of us. And I feel like that's what this illumination is. Like this Empress is almost, this card's coming through a little bit like a light body sparking. That's revealing these layers or tendrils of distortion that are blocking us from our true knowing and our true center. The true knowing and the true center. Four Cups. This is, to me, speaking about protection. Like, so you see how one moon is very colorful, one is very black and white. I feel like there's an aspect of us, and the rodent speaks to me of kind of bottom feeder, a little bit isolated. That's kind of blocking out this light, right? The one that keeps us into dualistic constructs. And this is kind of coming through as black and white thinking or all or nothing propositions. So I'm not reading this traditionally because that's just the way I read the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. It takes me off into other places, which I like. I feel like there's a part of myself and a part of us as a collective whole that's keeping us in black and white thinking, which is very much so yes or no in the dualistic constructs, right? So a part of each one of these ripples is, especially as the black and white staircase, it's keeping us in a little bit of sense of the quote unquote the game, but also blocking the light from coming in. So this is about now bringing down the layers of protection that are blocking us from being able to receive our full cups, and a part of ourselves that is keeping us in those dualistic constructs, because there's almost this sense of safety in it. There's a sense of feeling safe in those constructs because there's familiarity. So when there's familiarity in constructs such as divisiveness or indecisiveness or self-sabotage, it can feel like it's a little bit tricky to get out of those scenarios because of all the wonderful things she does. Because it's familiar. And a part of breaking out of that unfamiliar, when we start to take a step away from familiarity and into the unknown, it's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to bring stuff up to the surface. So there's almost a layer of protection right now. And I'm hearing it's the seven realms of Gaia, like the seven heavens, that are we're blocking ourselves from being able to receive this form of heaven tonality and how to access it. But the Daughter of Pentacles right now is coming through very much so about the youthful presence of this Empress. It's talking to me about the Rainbow Bridge, and it's speaking very much so of a taking the power back of our youthful innocence to climb into those realms of the seven heavens, because it does require that innocence, but we might be protecting a part of ourselves from being able to access it. Now, what part of ourselves are we protecting? Oi. Eight of Wands. We're protecting our ability to communicate openly. It's almost like there is a suffocation that has happened on the authentic truth of the throat chakra, and that's what this void, of course, and also Mercury retrograde is bringing forward. We've been protecting how we communicate, but it's also coming through as the power, because the rainbow always reminds me of a thunderbolt coming in and breaking down things, and it makes me think of Thor, very much so, and the energy of lightning, and that really quick, powerful break open. It seems like the aspect of us that we're protecting is our power to speak our truth, collectively. And there's something about the authentic truth. It's not the fighting distortion truth, but it's like soul-aligned vision, the higher self truth. And this very much so comes into what I was speaking of earlier in regards to the fear of persecution or the fear of being harmed by speaking your truth. Yeah, here we go, the Fool. Oh, I like this. Okay. So, the Fool, speaking of a new journey, but there's also this youthful, cannot quite take flight yet approach to this. So a part of this communication might be feeling like, oh no, I'm not ready to fly. But what we've got here is the Ten of Cups, which is speaking about speaking as the eternal self to activate our DNA, and speaking from the DNA. So it's not speaking from the human, but it's speaking from the DNA. And with the Son of Swords actually now coming up in reverse, which I haven't been doing reversals, but this is saying that you do not have to fear this swift punishment, that's actually a what we would call false evidence appearing real. Something that isn't true, something that's not going to happen, but it's about speaking from and as the DNA. Speaking from our crystalline self and not speaking from our the angry self. So what was coming through is the homeless self, because myself, that's kind of what I'm encountering right now. Very much so. But there's something about it has nothing to do with communication in general, but it has to do with how we are communicating, right? But also how are we acclimating to the energies. I just had a huge deja vu, which will happen with this. There's a shift there, which means that there's something about ripe timing and right timing with this. That this Mercury retrograde, the way that we're going to be able to navigate the Mercury retrograde, if you feel like you're called to speak up, is of course always share your voice. But there's something about speaking from the crystalline self that's coming through, and you might not feel like you're ready, but you are. There's something about this 0-2 in the Fool card that's making me speak of 0 point presence. And 0 point to me is always about a reset. So it's a resetting of DNA, a resetting of our crystalline essence. There's something about the open space and the open play of creation. Making sure that as we are speaking truth into the void and speaking our words into the world, that we are speaking as the crystalline self, right? So Ten of Cups is always, to traditional tarot, is speaking of the huge wish fulfillment, right? The huge wish fulfillment. And it seems that the more that we honor our architecture of the oversoul and how that is projected into the form through the higher self, and then how we are awakening our DNA and the DNA within others, that we do not have to fear this kind of persecution energy coming in. Because this, to me, with the Son of Swords, is almost like someone coming in and taking a jab at you. But in reverse, it's saying that's not going to happen. It's an old storyline. If you commit to following the path of your soul and of awakening that and that within others, all will be well and all will be taken care of. Because there is a lot of storylines that have been trapped within our physical body structure that have had a great effect on us being able to express. Now, remember, we're in the age of Aquarius. So as the age of Aquarius is coming forward and through, and we're integrating those passageways in the Aquarian energy and how to navigate the Aquarian energy, there's a very big call to step up, to step forward as your creative self, as your creative essence, as your creative badassery. Now, that creative presence is going to show up different for everyone, right? Some people are saying, I've had people talk about getting called back into music, people expressing through dance. I've also found that the way the universe is bringing forward experience for everyone is very different. There's some people that are having to break out of their familiarity and go towards certain ideologies and movements and ways of self-care that used to no longer be allowed. And a part of the energy of this Aquarian stage of events is to bring forward an opportunity to shift out of our patterning to awaken to something new. And whatever the universe is going to bring forward to you right now to get into that joy, it will do. Even if it doesn't seem common, right? And this has been happening for myself too, and a few other people I've noticed, is that the universe has been dropping situations to dissolve polarity. And I'm hearing discuss polarity with the Hermit card. Okay. There's an illumination of polarity within ourselves that's happening, right? About where we're still holding polarity or judgment over any certain person, place, situation, ideology. So when it comes into the unification, right? And the tribes gathering, right? And getting to know one another. With the unified self, there might be an experience that's been called, because I've been seeing it happening for myself, these interesting examples of clearing persecution and clearing judgment. There's been people that I've noticed recently that have been invited to do things that I don't think the universe ever would do normally. And some people were saying, oh, it could be false guides, it could be this, it could be that. Yes, it could be, but also I noticed that when it comes to radical transformation, sometimes the universe will call forward radical measures for you to be able to shift and to step into your joy and to step out of your comfort zone. So the Hermit card's really about, now let's go in and let's discuss where we're still holding polarity against certain topics, because it's not about the topic itself, but it's about dissolving the judgment on the topic and whatever the universe can do to do that. Now, we have infinite amount of topics in this universal orchestration that we could dissolve judgment on. So it could take multiple lifetimes for some people to clear out all judgment. But when we're speaking of unity and unified consciousness, and kind of also what's at stake now, because now it's shifting out of that, the Hermit card is very much so coming with an energy of slow it down. Especially with all the retrogrades going on right now, it really is a time about slowing down. So if you find that the momentum is that of a snail, honor that. Try not to speed up through the process. I've been doing this recently where go into the thought of the future thought. Why isn't it happening quicker? Why isn't this getting done? And I feel like there's something about pacing ourselves that's really important right now on the journey. Even though it's very accelerated, things might not feel like they're coming together fast enough. Well, let's remember that there's always what I would call a background orchestration, where the universe is working things out in your favor and shifting things out and moving things along. So this might be for the next little while we're still at the end of this retrograde, to really go within and allow the slowdown to occur, because retrogrades really do cause us to go inside. It's not really, sometimes with the, let's see, we've got Saturn retrograde. Is it Saturn retrograde? Yeah, Saturn retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, and Pluto retrograde, I believe. Right now, I don't know if there's any other retrogrades going on, and all that energy is really about just kind of going within. And then we got Mercury retrograde coming up tomorrow, and so it really is about settling into this period of going within, especially as we're coming into, in the northern hemisphere, coming into winter. Winter is very much so about caving. Winter time for us is about kind of like summer and fall is, so summer is about that expression and that play always, right? And then as we're coming into fall here in the northern hemisphere, the fall is about gathering everything, collecting the harvest, right? So we can hold in for winter. There's something about this energy of going within and making sure that you are using your energy mindfully right now. Like, it's coming through as like a qualifying your energy, making sure that you're harnessing your chi or your life force, and you're using it in ways that are beneficial for you, and not wasting energy right now on topics, situations, people, places, things that are going to drain you. There's something about qualifying your life force and how you are embodying your life force here now that's really going to facilitate in the shift. And I feel like this is a part of that new momentum in to the Aquarian age and into the some of these paradigms. We can even call them programs of teachings of like New Earth and of New Age, is being mindful of our energy, what we're qualifying and giving our energy to. There's something about that this flame right now for what is occurring is needed. So your light, your life force, your light body, your chi is needed for what is illuminating in the collective, reminding you that you're a lighthouse, right? And so we don't want to gas out the lighthouse, because the lighthouse is needed right now. Son of Pentacles, Son of Pentacles, Son of Pentacles. So we have the daughter, now we have the son. This is once again that slowing down energy, and this means slowing down on giving. Slow down on what you're giving to the world, especially when it comes to, there's something about as we are reclaiming our energy and we're not giving away so much, that we are able to harness that as a form of magnetism to receive more. And it's stop giving away your power. Interesting. Right when I said that, it just shifted into stop giving away your power to others. Stop giving your power away to scenarios that don't serve you. That's also too qualifying your energy. Stop giving your energy away to things that aren't supporting you, right? And that's really interesting. It's almost like a balance point of kind of becoming radically selfish so you can be able to receive and take care of self now, which I can definitely carry out on my own front, right? Is taking care of yourself. Taking a moment to step away. So if you feel like you're entering this period where you need to step away from people, take care of yourself, by all means, please do so, because that can happen. There's a lot of people that do that would go ghost and just kind of, yeah, I'm just going to take care of myself, especially out here. Ooh, the Emperor and the Sun. Two beautiful cards, right? Hi. Okay. Boy, the Emperor and the Sun. There is an illumination coming in. And this is a rising up energy. This is like the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? And knowing that there's a preparation of a gateway where you will be able to go and to do again. Because the Emperor is the energy of the Divine Masculine. And I like how at the beginning of this reading, we have the Empress, and now we've got the Emperor and the Sun. And there's something about this solar guardianship that's coming around right now. That the Sun, it's like Luna herself, because in the beginning of the reading we have all this moon energy. Luna's bringing out the power of the feminine, and the Sun is bringing out the power of the masculine. And this is very much so coming through, is that the Sun and the Moon are working in harmony right now to facilitate and assisting us. But there's also some sort of revelation occurring. So the Emperor and the Sun right now is speaking of the reason why, the reason why we need to harness our light right now, our light, and to hold our light and to not give our light or our power away, is because it's helping in illuminating something about the Emperor. Now, the Emperor didn't come up in reverse. It came out upright. But there's something right now about us collectively that's revealing something about the Divine Masculine and the potentiality of the Divine Masculine. And I think that's what's really important as a focus right now, is we're being called to, first off, we're recognizing that there might have been some sort of issue with us being able to speak our truth, and it was starting out as a human truth. Now it's coming through as saying, no, actually, Mercury retrograde is bringing up that there's this crystalline truth or this divine truth that wants to be expressed through the throat chakra. So if you feel like you're bursting at the seams to share and it's coming out a little human at first, and then it starts to align with more of a divine vocality or a divine tonality, interesting, a divine tonality, it's because that human energy is getting in the way of opening up to the divine self and the divine creator creation coming forward and stepping through. Now that it is, it's saying, okay, you will not be persecuted or slandered or shamed for sharing your truth. But the thing is, though, is that we need to make sure that you are embodying and holding your light, not giving away too much of your energy, because there's some sort of illumination that's happening regarding this whole situation. It's kind of feeling a little bit institutional. And this revelation is occurring. That's what we're looking at right now, is that it's almost like, as I was saying, there's a revelation of the divine masculine. I feel like the divine masculine energetics itself is revealing something to the world within all of us. And we could say that this is a soul drive thing. It's a spark, it's an illumination. But the energies of this it's almost the masculine energy going through this level of transformation with the power of the feminine is illuminating something. It's almost like it's creating a passageway. It's creating a passageway or a tunnel to walk through. What is this passageway? Six of Wands. It's a pouring out of rainbow frequencies. It's a pouring out of light. This passageway is almost like it's like a plasma corridor that's shining light on creations, especially shining light on old creations. This is almost like a cosmic query. I'm hearing cosmic query. And an endeavor that's approaching regarding how we are using our tools of creation to build our foundations and to build our world out. So it's that we have the tools within us, but the illumination is going to provide how we use those tools. So it's almost a preparation of being able to apply the tools and the wisdom we have for the greater good of ourselves and for others. But right now it's not about doing for others, it's about giving back to self and holding the energy for self, holding the life force, because it's leading to this revelation. It's almost like all of us holding those energies is what stabilizes a gateway to open up. Because we're all crystals. So as we're all crystals and our beacons are on, it's going to open up some sort of divine gateway that's going to allow this showering in almost an illumination of cosmic energies to align to a new trajectory where the tools that we hold can be used. So we're further affirming that going within is going to shift something. It's going to open up something within us. Because I've always talked about when a portal arrives from within. Yeah, Son of Cups right there. There's the portal again. It's like this portal opens up and we come into the Son of Cups. And the swan is always speaking to me of grace. And I feel like if we are to see that this illumination actually is coming into more of a sense of grace, ease, flow, because I'm seeing the water drip off the back. Like it's a time where it's almost like a time of being unaffected by others' projections, because there's been a lot of stuff about projection. And it seems like this, as we hold this light, we're holding more of the divine self, which is going to illuminate more tools that we have in our toolkit that we might not know that we have that we can use, and as a result, we'll be a little bit less bothered. It's almost like coming into an easier time, an easier pathway, but the easier pathway requires us being able to go within and hold our light, not give our light away so frequently. And to make sure that as we're holding that light, we're sharing it in a way that's building ourselves into a new future, not building up the old pathways. And making sure that as we're speaking as the crystalline divine self in our DNA, not speaking as the human. Interesting. I like this. I like this reading. I like where it's going. So, things are starting to pick up around here. So as a result, I'm going to pick up and shift and move. We're going to do a few more readings, all right? So I love you guys. Much love and respect to everyone out there. Thank you, everyone, for playing, sharing, subscribing, all that good fun. And with that, we're just going to close down all portals and gateways, all timelines, and I will see you in another moment of the now. Bushiera Kaimaya.